So why do we expect anything different out
Yeah.
of certain people and certain
Yep.
things? We expecting a different result. The scorpion is gonna be a scorpion.
Yep. Yep. A dog gonna be a dog.
A dog is
Yeah.
gonna be a dog. What up? What up? We are back again. Tosh, what's good with you?
What's up?
What's cracking
Listen,
with you, man?
man, it's been a week.
A great week. I know it's been a great week for you. I called you or text you or whatever. I mean, that was last week though. But anyway, you was conducting business. You was on
I got
talking to
some
somebody.
things in the works. I
Yeah.
got some things in the
And we
works.
and we and we like that. We like when there's
Yeah.
things in the work. When there's things in the work, man, that mean that we are changing the game, that we are making an impact. So that's what I'm
Trying.
talking about, man. See, I'm gonna share this on your feed, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So we can rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Let's do
But
it.
I think we got a good topic tonight, right? Because,
Mm.
working with fathers and, all of that type of stuff, man, dealing with relationships and just hearing the stories of why they did what they did, why they was with this woman, right? And I know you can
Mhm.
come from a woman's perspective. So listen, I want to delve right into it, man. So when you hear the term, when I bring up like why did I stay in this relationship? I'm not going to even say marriage, but why did I stay in this relationship? Right?
Yeah.
Um, and I hear a lot of people come up with some really powerful stories, right? And I question at the end of the day, was it worth it? Right? Like,
Right.
was that the right thing to do? And I remember, man, as a kid, I have a personal story of my mom, and I'll share it, man, and I still remember till this day that I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and her decision to stay was based off what I said. And years later, man, we had a conversation about it, and she regretted it, right? And
Oh
somewhat
wow.
kind of blamed me for staying. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'm just curious, man, when you hear that, like what do you think of? Like why do you think that some women, like I mean, speak from a woman's standpoint, why do women stay in a relationship that they know probably is not best?
I think for a few reasons. I would say one is that a lot of women think that they can change men, and myself included. I've been guilty of that as well, so they stay because they think, oh, I can say the right thing that'll make him change, or I can do something different, or do the right things, or please him in a certain way, and that's going to make him change. And so a lot of women think that they have the power to make the man change, and they don't. That's the short answer. I mean, to me, that's the final answer. You cannot make a person change, but a lot of women think that they can.
I when I look at it, right, from a man's perspective, a lot of times, man, when a man when you get a dude, man, who's like really committed to
Hmm.
to a relationship, my man is committed, right?
Yeah.
When he's really committed, a lot of times, man, he will get rid of any side chicks. He get rid of everything when he find that one. He's willing to go through any and everything. And women, a lot of times we give women a lot of credit for staying in relationships with men that may have cheated on them and all of that type of stuff. But real talk, men do too.
Hmm.
Men do not easily throw away relationships just because um is rocky or even infidelity in there, right? And that's a misconception. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now the thing about it is this is that men may react differently.
Okay. Okay.
Men may become extremely aggressive and very vocal, all of that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, a lot of men they will stay in the trenches. You know what I mean? And I know, you know what I mean, unfortunately, you know what I mean, unfortunately, I know quite a few men who have experienced that where they were victims
Yeah.
of infidelity. And this is the thing, they've been suffering in silence for years. Why? Because it wasn't it, they didn't have anybody to go to talk about it. Dudes is not like women. They'd be like, listen, girl, he did A, B, C, and D. You know, y'all gonna go have y'all drinks. They gonna try to process that with you, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
dudes, that happened, dudes would go through that in silence because they like, yo, I don't want to look like no sucker. I don't want to look like
Right.
no punk. How can I go tell my mans that my lady cheated and she was with somebody else?
Okay, I could see that.
Right? So
But
so
but
they
it
go
seems
through it
like
alone.
men, well, I think it appears that men can be a bit more irrational than women, and so what I have witnessed is that men will it's almost like women can forgive men for cheating, but sometimes men they can't forgive women for cheating. That's what I have witnessed. It's
Yeah.
like women will take a man back after he's cheated on her, but a man can't handle it the way a woman can.
Let me ask you
Or
this
the man
question.
may stay, but he doesn't really fully forgive the woman for it.
Let
So he's
yeah.
holding, he still has those hostile feelings
Yeah.
inside, and
Yeah.
it affects the relationship.
Yeah. So that's a great point because that's where I was going. My question to you is really, did she really forgive? Because just because you stayed doesn't
Right.
mean you forgave,
No,
right?
it doesn't.
Because in the back of her mind, she can still be dealing with all of that trauma, right? Not allowing or wanting him to do A, B, C, and D, still dealing with all of that, staying out of comfort, staying because she doesn't want to be alone, staying for whatever reason for the
Yeah.
kids, right? It looks and appears that she forgave him, but really didn't forgive him.
I think that women do forgive, but they don't forget.
I think
And
that's human though. For real.
yeah,
I think
it
that's
is.
human.
It,
I think it's
it,
human, and I think a lot of times that people that we appear that we forgave, but
right, right.
really didn't forgive. You know what I mean? And it's hard to forget. Like, you know what I mean, it's hard to forget.
Don't forget. You don't. You get over it. I don't think you forget. And I think behaviors, the way your partner behaves, and those types of things can have an effect, a good or bad. And so whoever the cheater is in the relationship, to me, it's their job to prove to the other one that that they are in fact sorry and won't ever do it again. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is, man. But you know what you say, that statement is powerful because I really want to delve into that because I think that's a misconception that men uh don't stick around or will fight for that marriage, right? Or not even marriage, like in dating,
relationship.
boyfriend, girlfriend. You know what I mean? There's a lot of men who've been through ish, but they just don't talk about it because it's not normal. Like if a dude, you think about it, Tyrese came out publicly, he was crying that he couldn't
And
get
time
access to his
out.
kids. And he got
And
drugged.
yes, he did. He did.
He
Have
got
you?
drugged.
Did you see the meme? I seen it earlier today, and someone shared it about Future. He's saying that all of the women that he messed with, everybody is trying to say that Future is the one that's toxic, but he's saying in fact it's the opposite. That all the women that that he messed with, they were the toxic ones, and they are the reason that the relationship didn't last. But they won't admit it, and that the public likes to, in other words, scrutinize men, but they won't give that same energy to the women. It's always the men's fault, but women are just as toxic as men are.
Facts. Yep. I don't know about his relationship. You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't know about his relationship,
Yeah.
but this is my thing. I would say the future, right? It's like, yeah, let's give it to them women. Let's give it to those women that you said that they all were toxic. I'll give you that. But my question to future is, why do you keep attracting them?
Because the
What's
common
in
denominator is you.
what,
So yeah,
why? I mean, what are you doing to continue to attract that type
I
of
see what-
lady
exactly.
where you're always attracting a toxic women?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right, so that's the real question, right? Because they
yeah,
are them. Yeah, man, I heard a story years ago, man, that somebody told me. They told me the story. It was this scorpion trying to get from one side of the lake to the other side, and
yeah.
he asked the frog for, you know, to help him get across. Right, he was just like, "Yo, help me get to the other side," and the frog was like, "Nah, bro, I'm not gonna give you a ride." And he's like, why? He was like, because if I take you across, all you're gonna do is sting me, bro, and then I'm gonna drown. And the scorpion is like, listen, what sense does that make? Because if I sting you and you drown, guess who's drowning?
Right. I
I'm gonna
drown.
drown too. And so the frog, like, you know what? That makes sense. So he told the scorpion to hop on his back, and he got on his back. Halfway over, lo and behold, scorpion stings him. My man, like, yo, why did you sting me? Now we both gonna die. The
Right.
scorpion responds and says, that's what I do. That's
Hmm.
who I am.
Ugh.
So why do we expect anything different out
Yeah.
of certain people and certain
Yep.
things? We expecting a different result. The
Yep.
scorpion is gonna be a scorpion.
Yep. Yep. A dog gonna be a dog.
A dog is
Yeah.
gonna be a dog.
Yeah.
Even though
Yep.
my dog think he a cat, I walk in the house and he's on the top of my couch. I'm like, get your, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, listen, I don't care how much you try to sit like a cat, bro, you still a
you
dog.
you a dog. You a
You
dog.
still a dog.
But that goes back to what I was saying. I think that women and maybe men too. I'm saying women because I'm a woman, but people think that they can change people, and you can't. Or you know you just like we said you get comfortable. People
Absolutely.
stay for finances. People stay because they don't want to get out here in the dating pool because I heard the dating pool is trash right now.
The dating
So
pool is trash.
I heard the dating pool is trash can. So nobody wants to get in the dating pool right now, which I don't know nothing about that. Happy I don't. So I think that there are all sorts of reasons. But it's unfortunate because if you have children, you teach them to stay in unhealthy and unhappy situations, and so that's one thing I'm always big on. I'm like, I do not want to teach my daughters, I mean my sons as well, but I just don't want to teach my daughters to stay with a man that they're unhappy with. I don't.
Yeah.
So
That's real, man, and that goes back to, the question is, why did I stay in this marriage, right? I,
yeah.
like I said, I was like, like real talk, I was like 7, somewhere like that, man. I was like 7, and my mom was crying, and no little boy want to see their mom cry,
Yeah.
and she was crying, and she, grabbed me, and we were walking, in blocks in Jersey, man, like in my area, it was long as heck, and we were walking, and she said to me, she said, I'm leaving your father, right?
Hmm.
And when she said that, man, I just started crying like no other, like really crying. And I don't even know what type of relationship I had with my dad, right? But
Hmm.
just hearing that she was going to leave him and he was no longer be around, it was just too much for me.
Yeah.
And we made it to her girlfriend house, and I don't know all what happened, but I just know that something happened where she made a decision to stay. Right?
Okay.
She made a decision to stay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was in my 20s when my mom said to me, because I was asking her like, yo, why did you stay, and all types of stuff, and she came up, she said, I stayed because of you. She said that day when I was walking to your godmother's house and I said to you that I was leaving, that was the first time I had enough energy, enough power to walk away.
Okay.
I was settled that I was leaving. But when you said, don't leave them, I didn't want you to grow up without a father. And
Yeah.
so I look back at my mom and I'm like, yo, why did you stay? Like I wish you wouldn't have stayed just for me, because she didn't live the life that I know that she really, really
That's
deserved
her happiness for yours, or what she thought
for
was best.
mine,
Yeah.
right? And my thing is like, I'm a kid,
Yep.
right? But you know, the sacrifices we make. So she made that decision, and she never was married. That was always a desire of hers to be married, and you know all that stuff. So she sacrificed that for me. But I'm like, yo, I said to her later, I'm like, man, I wish you wouldn't have, right? But it's easy for me to say that now, right? Because
Now.
I'm
Yeah.
older, the whole nine. But what could have happened if my dad wasn't there?
Yeah. See, and my story is a little different because I and it's funny because you never forget those type of situations. Just like, I mean, how old were you? You said
I was like
uh,
7. I was like 7. I
six,
remember it.
seven,
Yep.
and I was 7, and just like you said, I can remember everything. Like, it was raining outside, and
Hmm.
him and my mom had just finished arguing, and she made him leave, and I was so angry with her. I was so mad, and I'll never forget crying and crying and begging him to stay. And but he said, that he had to leave, but he was still keep in touch, and he didn't. It was the last time that I had seen him in person until I was grown, till last year,
Really?
because I had after I had Nico, I had complications, and so he came and saw me, and I joked with him. I was like, I guess I gotta almost die for you to come see me. But it was the
Wow.
truth. That was the first time I had seen him. But my mom, she made him leave. She had enough, and she made him leave. And for a long time, I was upset with her. But she ended up sitting us down and explaining to us that you do not stay with a person just for your kids. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that. Yeah.
Wow. So my question to you is, man, because somebody out there listening, right, and they may be going through this. So your mom made that decision to
Mhm.
do that. What does the young Tasha wish her mom would have done to help you close that gap
Mhm.
until you got closure and healing years later, right? Because I'm quite sure in between there you didn't understand. You know what I mean, it
Right.
was a whole lot of anger, all
Yeah.
types of stuff. So what could have been done? You wish that could have been done to help you navigate that process as a young girl, not
Yeah.
having her dad.
So of course, young Tasha was like, I want him to stay, and I want y'all to work things out, and I want y'all to be together. I want us to be together. Me, my sister, and my mom and dad. But it didn't work that way. But I think what she could have done better was, um, and I hate to blame her, and I'm not
Yeah,
trying,
yeah.
but she could have done more to maybe keep our relationship strong. My sister and I with him.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe she did, and I don't know that part.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it felt like when he left, when she put him out, it was like he was done not only with her but with us too. And I wish more could have been done to keep that relationship together.
Wow.
But it wasn't. And so, throughout the years, that was always in the back of my mind. Did she tell him he couldn't speak to us, or did he choose that? And I guess I really don't have those answers even still at 41.
Are you afraid to ask those questions?
Yeah, because I don't know that I want to know the truth. Maybe I can, where it's at, I just leave it, because I mean, as a grown up now, I'm like, I have my own children, and I'll be damned if somebody tell me I can't talk to my kids. So I feel as an adult now, he should have done more. But at the time, I felt like, why is she not letting us talk to him?
Yeah.
Why is she keeping him?
My girl Tosh froze on us. You know what I mean? But this is a thing, man. This is a difficult conversation, for anybody to have with your family. And it's interesting that she says that she does not or want to ask those questions. She want to ask those questions, but she's afraid of what the answer is going to be. And I tell you, man, for years I was afraid. I was afraid. She's back now. I was afraid to ask those same questions as well. Tosh, you back?
I'm back.
Yeah.
It was getting
But
too good.
yeah, no, it's all good, man. But I was just saying how what you're saying is just so powerful, right? Because I myself was afraid to ask my father a lot of questions, right?
Hmm.
I mean, because all I heard was my mother's side of the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dad was very intimidating,
Hmm.
right? Very intimidating. So I didn't know what to ask, how to ask,
Yeah.
all those things, but I needed closure, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a part of me, honestly, me personally, it was a part of me was like, listen, I was pissed because I knew my mom wanted to get married. Like, yo, you never married my mom, bro. My mom died wanting to be married. Like, I mean, my mom had to
Yeah.
ask you for money, bro. Like, and realize, and I realized, like, I grew up kind of like not poor, but poor. But I'm like, we didn't have to because I come to find out this dude had bread,
Mhm.
but he just wasn't spending it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, we didn't have to suffer the way we suffered because this dude had bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for years I had a lot of these questions and a lot of resentment. And then I
Yeah.
got to the place, man, that like the last 10 years or so, like especially since I've been working with fathers, I'm like, yo, I can't put
Mm.
pressure on you to do the work if I'm not gonna do the work. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yo, I
Right.
need answers. And now my dad has,
Yeah.
dementia, right? So my thing is, whereas my siblings, they were not ready to ask him questions, right? They still
Okay.
have questions,
Okay.
but some of the answers that they will want, they're not going to be able to get because of the dementia. And who he is
Yeah.
today is totally different who he was when
From
we were
who? Okay.
growing up. Today he's a lot more loving and patient, even before the dementia, right? Like he became somebody different. But I needed answers on like who you
Okay.
were,
Okay.
bruh. Because my mama stayed and I
Yep.
felt guilty after my mom started revealing stuff. And I'm like, but you know what? It's
Right.
unfair because grown folk business is grown folk business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm
Yep.
like, okay, I need to hear your side of the story. Like,
Hmm.
like why didn't you? Right? Like,
Yeah.
why didn't you marry her? Why didn't
Yeah.
you do certain things? And he gave me his answers, and guess what? It satisfied me
Okay.
because I'm like, yo, it makes sense.
Okay.
It
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes a whole lot of sense of why he did what he did, why he didn't, and some things, he just didn't know. Like he was a young man, that's just how they did it. But
Yep.
I saw the core of who he was. I knew he was pure. He was doing the best that he knew how to do with what he had with
Yeah.
his tools.
Yep.
And so that's how I can walk away with that. So that's why I just ask you is like, because my sisters are the same way. You know what I
And
mean?
we had conversations, but my dad left. My mom made him leave, and it was because he was on drugs. She found out he was on drugs, and she wanted him out of the house, away from us, and everything. And so I know those are reasons she didn't want him talking to us as
Yep.
well. But also, I think that because I am, my dad is the same way, like you said, your dad is. Now we laugh and we joke on the phone when we do talk. He asks about the kids and just he's a different person. But when he talks about why he left, if we even begin that conversation, we get into it. I get defensive for my mom because
Mm.
I don't like for him. It's like you left her
Yeah.
with two struggling, working two and three jobs, trying to figure out how she was going to pay bills and feed us and that kind of thing. So it had switched, where I had this resentment toward her early on for making a leave. As I became a woman and really saw what was going on, my resentment became towards him, and I was protective of my mom. Like, you left her. You left us, but you left her to struggle and do all the dirty work. And now you want to have a relationship after she has built me and my sister into who we are today.
Yeah. Scott is at it again, Taj. He said, I
What?
agree. Keeping it together for the kids often means keeping the kids in a space that doesn't teach love, but there's a lot of tension, resentment, and even hate. Kids are
Yep.
always learning. What are you teaching?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
That's real, right? So
It,
you can stay
it,
in this relationship. You can go
and
through the
kids
motions.
all
And I ain't listen, no judgment. Listen, I'm putting it out there now, people. No judgment. Repeat after me. Put it in the comment section. No
yep.
judgment.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, like, for some, where we sleeping in separate bedrooms, we are sleeping in separate bedrooms. What are we showing our kids?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying somebody who have medical issues or whatever the case, but what I'm saying is, like, when you are in a relationship and you are on purpose sleeping in separate bedrooms, like, what are you saying?
Walking past.
And everybody's
Oh,
situation is different. Everybody's
yeah.
situation is that's why I said no judgment. But if you
Yeah.
sleep in the separate bedrooms and you like, yo, we just gonna stay together for the kids, you know what I mean? But no touching. I'm like, yo,
Mm.
kids know that. They see
Yeah.
that.
This. Yeah. They notice. They notice all of that.
They see it. They see that you're not affectionate. They see that
We
you don't have anything
constantly.
good to
They
say.
Yeah, they taking notes. They pay attention to all of that, spoken and unspoken. They see it, and they take all of that and carry it on into the relationships that they build outside of the home. When they get into their romantic relationships, they take all of that with them,
That's
all of it.
real. That's real. That's real. And this was the thing, man, is that when my mom, see my mom and dad grow up as a kid. So when I got into my relationship with any woman, but especially with Leah, right? I was okay with just dating and living together and, like, yo, let's not put no handles on it. But
Yeah,
she came from a different environment where, like, yo, that's not the standard, homie. Like,
yeah,
we not gonna play house.
yeah,
We
yeah,
not going. I'm like, yo, we don't need to put titles and all. Like, yo, it's working good. Let's just keep it.
yeah,
Because that's what I was used to, right?
yeah,
And and
yeah,
and the thing about it is that I was going to bring some of the toxic thinking that I had into our relationship,
yeah,
right? And that we would have. I mean, if it was up to me at the time, yo, we'd have been together forever. And we'd have never got married
yeah, yeah,
because it wasn't an issue, right? I mean, my mom and dad was together for 50 years,
yeah. Yep.
right?
Oh,
Almost 50 years.
you definitely bring that on with you. It's all the toxic traits, all the trauma. You bring it right with you.
I mean, and my mom definitely taught me how to love and how to treat a woman and how to be
Yeah,
compassionate. But I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know how to treat a woman like a real man was supposed to. Right? Like, to
yeah,
me, it's like, yo, we are not going to be, you're not gonna hold my hand, we're not gonna kiss in public, like any type of affection. To me, that means like you wanted to get busy, right? Like, because that was the way. I didn't know how to nurture a woman,
yeah.
how to really just be affectionate, just be. It had to
Hmm.
be leading to something, right? And a
Yeah.
lot of that came from what I was exposed to, and not just in the crib, but things that was on TV or friend, like what I was exposed to. And so, looking back at some of those things, man, people stay in relationships for all, not for all the wrong reasons, but a lot of times for the wrong reasons. And I just
Yep.
need you to be on, like, if you're gonna stay in the relationship, right, and you're working through trauma and you're working through infidelity, you're working through difficult times, I need you to really do the work, though.
Do
Like,
the
do the
work.
work. If you're gonna stay, do the
Yep.
work to really be here. Me and Leah done been through everything. And for
Thing.
us to have 22 years of marriage, we didn't get here because it was always peaches and cream. And so the reason why we can laugh and joke and we can have something that's real now, that's really real, is because we've been through hell, homie.
Yep.
And we decided that we was going to fight for our marriage and we was going to
Yep.
grow together.
Yep.
Like, I wasn't
Well,
gonna
because
walk around here
that
resenting her and she resenting
fight,
me.
fight for the marriage. You have to fight, not just stay, but actually fight and do the work to make things better. And that's what people don't do. They just decide to stay for the kids, stay for the money, stay for comfortability, whatever the case may be, but then they don't do the work. And so they still have the same behaviors and the same things happening over and over and over.
Yes.
And so that's the key, is what you said. Do the work. You have to do the work.
Listen, and guess what? The work is hard. The
Hell
work is
yeah, the work
hard.
is hard.
The work is really, really hard. And guess what? I don't.
Yeah.
A lot of times you don't even want to do the work. You just like, yo,
Mm.
F it. Like I'm done. I'm good. I'm Gucci. Like I don't want to do it.
It's easier to just say, "Hey, I'm out. I'm out."
It's easy. It's
But
easy to do that. You know what I mean? It's easy to
yep,
do that. But if you want something great, you know what I mean, you gotta be willing to fight for it. And honestly, man, you gotta be willing to walk away too. Like if
you
if
do.
it's if you're in an abusive relationship, you know what I mean, it's like you going through like yo, and I'm not telling you what to do, but you need to really recognize what type of relationship you are in, and you have to make that decision. Don't stay for the wrong reasons, man. Like you
Please.
gotta love you. Like for real, you gotta learn how to love you. For years, I didn't know how to love me, man. For
Mm-hmm.
years. For
Yep.
years.
Yep.
Because I was so worried about what other people were saying and how they viewed me. And so now I honestly I don't care. Leah get on me
Yep.
all the time. I'm like, yo, I don't care. Like for real. I don't care. I'm not doing it for because of what I went through, it helped me to develop a resolve. Like I don't care, because if I
Yep.
can get through that,
Oh heck
yeah,
yeah. Yep.
I
Yep.
don't care. You know what I mean? And
Anything.
we have to be willing.
What Scott say? I
What
like
Scott?
to hear what Scott say.
He said I slept in another room and my kids asked why. I lied to them. I said it was because my back hurt. I remember them hearing it, but I also could see their worry. Hold up, let's bring it back. So I'm now there for the kids and I'm lying and I'm causing worry. Not okay. Yeah. You know, what I mean, he said that he was, when he did it, he was lying, or people lie and make up excuses why they in the other room, right? But we know that the kids know, and we build in, what are we teaching them,
Yep.
right? Like, what are we teaching them? Like when a bill collector called, tell them mama not here, tell them
Uh,
daddy not here.
yeah.
What are we teaching them?
Yeah. Yep.
No, Scott, that's real, man.
It
That's
is.
real. That's real. And I decided, man, in my relationship, man, that there were certain things that were not negotiable. And some of our negotiables in our relationship is that we're never gonna argue about money. We're never
Yeah.
gonna throw up the word divorce, right?
Yeah.
And we're never gonna argue about sex, right?
Yeah.
Because those were three things that we knew that were triggers to us in our growing up, and we knew how that impacted us so much. And
Yeah.
so no matter how hard angry we got at one another, we was not calling each other out our name, because you
Yeah.
can't take that stuff back, man.
No,
And
you
I'm
can't.
not going to throw up the word divorce,
Nope.
unless I mean it.
Yep. Yep.
Unless
Same.
I'm not going to threaten you, and please
No.
don't threaten me.
Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. We have the same rule. If you bring up that word, you better mean it.
Yeah.
You better
Yeah.
mean it.
No, that's real, man. No, I appreciate it, man. So let me hear before we tap in, man. Those, man, we thank you for staying and tapping in with us tonight, man. But I do have a question for you. What are some non-negotiables that you have established in your relationships? Right, you may have, and now, uh,
Yeah.
some type of advice you can tell somebody, like what are some of your non-negotiables. Like I said, our non-negotiables is that some people say they, our non-negotiable, we not going to bed angry.
Yeah.
I wish I
Yeah.
could say that I haven't gone to bed angry in a very long time,
Yeah.
but I can't say that I've never went to bed angry,
No,
because
I
your
say that.
boy can your
I
boy
don't.
can shut down and be in his own little cove, and like I'm not saying anything, right?
Yeah. I can't say that one either. But
What is one of
similar,
your non-negotiables?
similar to what Scott was saying, years ago, Virgil and I had a huge fight, and he left and went to his father's house. Austin at the time, who Austin will be 20 in September, so
Wow.
he was like 3. I know. So he was like 3 at the time. And do you know, for years, up until he was probably like 7 or 8, he would say, "Remember that time when Daddy got mad and he left? Remember when?" And I couldn't believe that he could remember that. And so that became a rule. Like, Leaving the house is nope.
Yeah, yeah.
Nope.
No, I like that. You know, Stephanie said something that was really powerful. Going back to what I asked you about your dad, she said it's as if uh, you have to find peace within yourself before asking the questions, because that will ensure that you can handle the answer if it's not what you want it to be.
Yeah,
That's powerful,
it is.
right?
It is.
You know, that's real powerful, Stephanie. You know, because honestly, when I did have that conversation with my dad, I did come to a place of resolve. Like I came to a place of resolve where it's like, yo, I'm ready for whatever he shares with me. Right? I was just ready for it because I needed closure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
needed closure. I needed to know his side. So I'm just like, yo, whatever this answer is gonna be, is gonna be. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just let it be settled. I'm not gonna pick, I'm not gonna pry, I'm not gonna keep on,
Yeah.
try to antagonize or whatever the case to make the narrative what I want it to be. So I was prepared for him, to say some bold stuff. Like, I ain't
And
really
I was,
like your mama. I ain't want your
yes.
mama. You know what I mean? But that wasn't it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it gave me some peace. But a
Yeah.
lot of it was like, yo, he that's the way he was raised. He wasn't raised in the same house with his mom or dad. His dad lived out in New York, right? His dad
Yeah.
was a hustler. He didn't live in the house with his mom. He lived with his aunt and uncle or whatever. So, he was always, taking care of himself, and he got some accolades. He was tall, he was dark, he had
Yeah.
bread, he had, you know what I mean? So he grew up where he got a lot of attention from women and all. So that was the path he went
Yeah.
down, and the people that he
And
hung around, it wasn't like they was holding him accountable. Like, yo, Nate, that's not what you do, right? You know what I mean? He was having kids over here, and him, as long as he give him a little bit of bread, he was doing better than the next man. He like, I'm straight.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot of expectation, right?
Right.
And they didn't
Yep.
communicate a lot back then. The women knew their place.
Yeah.
Don't ask for nothing. You know what I mean? I give you what you want. It was a different time. So I'm like, okay, I understand certain things. And
Right.
then, honestly, honestly, man, I had to come to a place where I had to hold my mom accountable too. I'm like, you allowed them.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm like, you allowed them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day,
No, see, mine.
you
What she said is you have to be able to find that peace and be ready. And I actually talked to my dad, and I kind of, I like him now. I've kind of made peace with the fact that he was
did you say
gone.
I like him now?
Yeah.
I like it. That's a big step, though, right?
It
That's a
is.
big
It
step.
is. It is. And I'm afraid that if I ask some of the questions that I
Oh,
have,
oh,
I may not. So I'm kind of like,
oh.
let's just leave it where it's at.
That's
Cause
deep.
yeah, the
That's
answer
deep.
that I may get, I may not. Yeah, yeah. So
That's deep. That's
that's
deep.
part of
At least you
yeah.
honest, man.
That's
Look at
part.
you. You being transparent on here, and I know other people on here can relate to that, right? Like that's so
Yeah,
real. Like, I don't want to answer this question because I'm afraid of what you say may change the very dynamic,
yeah,
and I'm not ready for
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Nah,
So we gonna leave it where it's at.
we gonna let a sleeping dog lie.
That's right. That's, look, we gonna leave it where it's at.
Hey, I got you, homie. I appreciate it, man. So
Yeah,
listen, man, it is 8:59, man. I appreciate you guys rocking with us, man. This hour went by extremely
quick. It was
fast.
quick.
Really fast, man. It was good. Once again,
Yeah.
man, love rocking with you, Tosh. Our boy Cole
All
has
good
a
time.
conference. We say, oh, Scott said I can relate. He can relate to it. Yeah, like that's real, man. That's real. Like, nope, I'm not gonna ask that one.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, our boys Cole has a conference tomorrow. His first time putting together a conference, man, down in the Grand Rapids area. So that's why he's not with us tonight. So I'm excited for him, man. I know it's gonna be incredible, man.
We miss you
Oh,
all.
yeah, we do. We miss you, homeboy. So we'll see you next week, man. We'll see you next week, and we'll make it happen, man. So listen, Tosh, we didn't even have no we didn't even have the what's called tonight, legit or not
I
legit.
know.
You
I know.
always have one
Legit.
in the pocket. What you got tonight?
I don't look.
I know. Is it legit or not legit? Is it legit for Tasha to text me and said, "I'm not cooking nothing tonight. I'm waiting on hubby to bring some food for everybody. Is that legit or not
You
legit?
ain't about nothing. Where Lee at?
I don't know. Is that legit? She should have
Listen,
been home. My man, he was out all day working really, really hard. I mean, hard. Sweat
I
from the
cannot.
brow, leaning over, just tired with all the kids. And then she gonna
And
say,
all that
nope.
special Arby's.
That
I
is
let it
funny.
know. I ain't cooking tonight, okay?
Well, I guess it's legit. I guess it's legit. Oh, look at birds! Look at birds! Look at birds! Yeah,
What
birds!
are you
Look at
saying?
yes, he put the guys on it. He put the eyes. He put the eyes. Yeah, birds! You see it? You see it? You see it?
Y'all ain't about
You see
nothing.
it, birds! You see it? I love it. Deanna said legit. No, I gotta talk to my brother. I gotta talk to my brother Klingman. I gotta talk to him. I gotta talk to him. What's up,
Oh,
Deanna?
God.
Yo, listen,
That
I
is funny.
appreciate you guys rocking with us tonight, man. We'll be back next week, man. We'll be 3 gangs deep. Myself,
All right.
Tasha, and Cole, man. Until next time, we see you guys next week.
All right.